And I can't help but wonder if maybe you're here today because you heard I got a new Bhakti Center t-shirt and you wanted to see it. You don't have to tell me if I'm right or wrong. We have a special guest speaker today. We'll get to him in a few minutes. I'll just let you know the lay of the land. I'm going to read a preamble that was written by one of Srila Prabhupada's very first disciples, His Holiness Satsvarup Maharaj. He wrote this preamble specifically for this program. He was requested just to put us in the mood, to sort of create the right mindset, headspace to be in as we enter into this Prabhupada meditation, where we meditate on Prabhupada's amazing transcendental qualities. So this will just be about a minute or two. And then we will have a kirtan that Prabhupada recorded in this room in 1966. And that'll be about a 10-minute kirtan. After the kirtan, I'll introduce our speaker. And after that, we'll have to-go boxes of prasadam, which you can feel free to stay or do what you have to do. Now, just forgive me because I didn't have time to set this up. I will do so right now. Thank you, lady. Okay. Satsvarup Maharaj writes, 26 Second Avenue is a unique pilgrimage site among all temples, outreach centers, and country farms within the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. Srila Prabhupada arrived in the U.S. in September of 1965, and for almost an entire year he received very little response, living as a guest in the home of Dr. Mishra in uptown Manhattan. Eventually a student found him a rented storefront on the Lower East Side, and when he moved here, his first serious students started regularly attending his kirtans and lectures. In September of 1966, on the day of Janmashtami, Srila Prabhupada initiated his first American disciples, and soon after, working with a lawyer, he officially incorporated the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, ISKCON, as a tax-exempt religious corporation. The Swami was very accessible to his disciples. From the first day of his arrival in the U.S., Prabhupada continued wearing his saffron sannyas dress and rubber pointy shoes. He lectured in this very storefront in the evenings of Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. On Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday, he stayed in his apartment right across the courtyard, sitting at a low desk and conversing informally, answering questions from the devotees crowded in the room. Srila Prabhupada loved the 1966 period. Even at the end of his life, in 1977 in Vrindavan, he reminisced about the time at 26 Second Avenue. He recalled, quote, "Those were happy days," unquote. We were like a close family. All the devotees of ISKCON have a feeling of heartfelt gratitude to Srila Prabhupada for coming to 26 Second Avenue and starting the Krishna Consciousness movement. Devotees should make a point of visiting the first ISKCON temple and taking part in the weekly programs that are going on there now. So now we will have the kirtan that Prabhupada led in this room in 1966. Keep in mind that this was so early on that his students did not yet know the Panchatattva mantra. So Prabhupada will chant that on his own 3 times, and then he'll launch into the Maha Mantra, and we can fall into call and response at that point. Let's try to really limit our distractions. Put our phones aside, perhaps, except for those who need to, and really just absorb our minds in the transcendental sound vibration that is Srila Prabhupada's chanting.
Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Vijaya Shri Radha Krishna Gopinath Dham Kund Radha Kund Giri Govardhan Ki Jai Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai Navadvip Dham Ki Jai Samaveta Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai और जोड़ी पूजा चंद्रन की बोले और जोड़ी पूजा चंद्रन की बोले ओम कुमारंदी
Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Once again, thank you for being here. Before introducing our speaker, I'd like to bring your attention to another reason why this is a particularly special evening. Disciples who were the leading force behind our renovation project, turning this center into a Hare Krishna museum, so it looks the way it did in 1966, and people could come in and experience Srila Prabhupada just by entering, are here with us both from Florida. Yes? Also?
Central Florida, Miami.
Miami. Prabhupada disciple?
No.
Okay. Welcome, anyway. Just curious. Also from Florida. Just wanted to honor Adi Dev Prabhu and Vamana Dev Prabhu. Please welcome them. Welcoming them back. Just like to honor them with garlands. Vamana Dev Prabhu, particularly, he actually was initiated here and slept right around where you are now, more or less, right? Okay.
Kind of drawn to this spot.
Yeah.
That's your name on it.
So wonderful to have you both back in New York helping us. And of course, that leads us to our guest speaker, the inspiration behind the whole project. The person who insisted on getting Adi Dev Prabhu involved and Vamana Dev Prabhu involved because he knew they would be the ones to turn this place into an actualization of what his vision was. We all, I think most of us know His Holiness Radhanath Swami. He's been he was initiated by Srila Prabhupada in 1971, and has been a stalwart devotee for over 50 years. Since many of us know him, I'll just say in introduction that his inspiration is never ending. He just comes and things happen. Gaurakumar Prabhu mentioned just the other day how he said, he told Maharaj, he said, Maharaj, when you're here, things happen. And it's not because Maharaj cracks the whip. It's because Maharaj's heart is so big that we feel the love coming from him. And everybody on the team just wants to please him. He inspires us that way. Everybody wants to be a part of the execution of what his vision for this place is. And when he is pleased, then we all become euphoric. So for that, we thank you very much, Maharaj. And we welcome you back to 22nd Avenue, where I believe, I was told, you have not spoken in a formal way like this in about 10 years. So please come and break that silence. His Holiness Radhanath Maharaj ki! Yeah. another chair. Get a chair, please. Okay. I'll just do a picture of the chair. That's part of it.
This is good. Om Agyantimidandasya Gyananjanachalakaya Chakshurumilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Juthapadakamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavanscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Bidam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parichana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakan Bitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanda Radha Kanda Namostate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Brindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Suthe Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patithanam bhavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Binda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya, Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale, Srimate Bhakti Vedanta, Swami Iti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirbhishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatharine. Hare Krishna. I am very grateful to each and every one of you for coming to this very holy ceremony to celebrate Srila Prabhupada manifesting the mercy of Lord Chaitanya in its complete fullness to the whole world. Last year, there were many millions of people who came to Ayodhya to celebrate a temple that was manifested in the birthplace of Lord Ramchandra. Every year, millions of people come to Mathura for Janmashtami, the birthday of Krishna. And actually, in temples all over the world, the day of the Prana Pratishta, or the installation of deities, devotees celebrate the birthday of the appearance day, we say, of those particular deities. In the Christian world, in Bethlehem, people go on pilgrimage from all over the world to go to the birthplace of Lord Jesus Christ. And in all traditions, the birthplaces of saints. In fact, just this year, we acquired the entire property of the birthplace of Srila Prabhupada in Calcutta. And just only about 6-7 months ago, for the first time in decades and decades and decades, all of the various little huts, just crowded little huts that people were living in, they were all relocated. And now Srila Prabhupada, the jackfruit tree, and the whole property, we have the opportunity to build a beautiful memorial for Srila Prabhupada, to come to celebrate the place Srila Prabhupada was born. And recently, just a few years ago, Old Tadunga Junction Road, the first Gaudiya Math, it was established in 1918 by Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada. And he lived there for 12 years. That was his base. And in 1922, that's where Srila Prabhupada first met his Guru Maharaj. And he received the instruction to take the message of Lord Chaitanya in the English language all over the world. So now, Old Tadunga Junction Road, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada actually named it the Bhakti Vinod Asana. And it was the first of all Gaudiya Maths, where Srila Prabhupada received the instruction. It was like the conception of the Hare Krishna movement all over the world. And it was here, in 26 2nd Avenue, that Srila Prabhupada's his dream, his life's mission that he prepared for from 1922 up all the way till his last breath. It was here that Lord Chaitanya, Lord Nityananda, and Bhaktivinoda Thakur's predictions actually took birth. Mayapur Dham is Lord Chaitanya's birthplace, and it's also the birthplace of the Sankirtan movement. And this little storefront where we're sitting is the only place in the planet that there will ever be that is the birthplace of Lord Chaitanya, Lord Nityananda's prophecy manifesting, and Srila Prabhupada's life's work. This is the birthplace of the Hare Krishna movement. And I see coming here is no different than coming on pilgrimage to Ayodhya or Mathura or Mayapur or Calcutta. And the simplicity of this storefront brings us beyond time into Srila Prabhupada's presence of how he started our movement. After receiving the instruction from Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he began Back to Godhead magazine in the English language. And in India at that time, it wasn't that easy to sell. This was during the British regime. He started the Bhaktivedanta magazine. And although he took care of his family with such responsibility and such total deep Krishna consciousness, when the opportunity came, he retired from every other part of his life and went to Vrindavan to translate Srimad Bhagavatam and prepare for this journey. Inconceivable. He had no money, he had no contacts in the West. How was he going to come to New York to start a movement? Just living in those little rooms at Radha, praying, willing to risk his life, give everything to do so. And in 1965, he was given, after much struggle and begging, he was given a passage on the Jaladuta, and he crossed seas and oceans and continents, 38 days. And when he finally did come from Butler, Pennsylvania to New York City, it was one tribulation, one trial after another. And he just never had a place, anything. So you can imagine when he got this little storefront, this was something so glorious for Srila Prabhupada. In his diary, he writes, when he was living in the upper West Side, and when he was living in the Bowery, oftentimes he would have programs and no one came. But he still had the program for no one. He writes that I played the tape of my chanting and my explanation, and tonight no one came, but he did it anyway. Nothing could discourage him. And usually he would write, tonight 2 people came. Tonight 4 people came. And some people who were coming, he would say they were coming again and again, and then he said they stopped coming. And he wrote in his diary, he got a message from the steamship company that the Jaladuta was now in New York, and they would take him back for a free passage. But even though there was no results, he stayed on. And finally he met that one Paul in the Bowery, and he was staying with him, and Prabhupada was thinking, we can make this the temple. Let me send Paul to India to be trained as a Vaishnav. But nobody wanted him to come to India. Nobody would help. And eventually Paul got intoxicated on some drugs, and he actually threatened to harm Srila Prabhupada, and he had to leave there. He had nothing. And if you see, there's a beautiful little booklet that they've printed, that we've printed here at 26 Second Avenue, and in it, it shows from one of the newspapers of New York, the ad that there's a place for rent in 26 Second Avenue. And they came here, and Srila Prabhupada, everything he had, he could pay the first month for this room and the room behind, which was where he resided. At the time, Srila Prabhupada had just Mukunda and Janaki that were not initiated, and a couple others who were favorable and wanted to help, but no one was initiated. no one was really committed. They were just well-wishers. That's all he had. And this little storefront. And for Srila Prabhupada, now we look at his movement, at all the wonderful temples and all the wonderful projects and all the wonderful properties and all the incredible devotees. But in 1966 summer, just the few seekers who took some interest that were coming to this little storefront was the most glorious success of Srila Prabhupada's mission up until this time. And even though it was so small, Srila Prabhupada saw that from this birthplace of our movement, it could grow to the whole world. And Satsvarup Goswami Maharaj is so beautifully described in his message that was read. And Srila Prabhupada in 1977, he said these were happy days in this storefront. What is a place of pilgrimage? When Lord Chaitanya went to Vrindavan over 500 years ago, Vrindavan was almost a forgotten place. He discovered Radhakund and Shamakunda, and he went to some of the other places, but it was mostly just Brijabasis. There was no pilgrims. But he sent Rupa Goswami, Sanatan Goswami, and the other Goswamis on his behalf to actually reveal the glories of Vrindavan for the whole world to come and appreciate. So Vrindavan is always Vrindavan, but yet the Goswamis reveal the holy places and build temples so that when people come, they can actually have a very tangible experience in the holy place where they can actually access the sacredness. So these wonderful devotees in this team, I'm afraid to say too many names because I forget some, but Vamanadev Prabhu, Adidev Prabhu, and Gaur Kumar Prabhu, and Radhanath Prabhu, and Jainitai Prabhu, or some of the others. Vena Madhuri Devi, Anandacharya Prabhu, Bhava Bhakti Devi, and whoever else. But these devotees, they dedicated so much of their hearts and their energies to manifest the presence of Srila Prabhupada as he is eternally existing in these rooms, in this room. In one sense, although it's small and it's almost insignificant materially from the perspective of all the other temples, this is very much the heart of our whole movement, the heart of Lord Chaitanya's movement beyond the shores of India. And we come here on pilgrimage through our gratitude, through our meditation and gratitude and devotion and willingness to follow Srila Prabhupada, we could tune in to the sacred presence of Srila Prabhupada that's forever here. I remember one of Srila Prabhupada's earliest disciples, Hayagriva Prabhu. He would love to tell the story. He was walking down Houston Street, and he happened to see this person with saffron robes and those plastic pointed shoes and a shaved head. And Hayagriva had gone to India. He actually went to India on the Jaladuta, but a different time than Prabhupada did. And he was looking for a guru but couldn't find one. And then he came back to New York and he saw Prabhupada on the street. And he ran up to him and he said to Prabhupada, "Are you coming from India?" And Srila Prabhupada responded, "Are you?" And it took him years to understand why Prabhupada asked him that question, because if he hadn't been coming from India, he wouldn't have known Prabhupada was coming from India. But Srila Prabhupada brought him here to 26 2nd Avenue and said, "I'm giving classes Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and please come, bring your friends." And he and his friends were the first people to move into the temple here, sleeping on the floor of this little storefront. But years later, Hayagriva, he withdrew from active service in ISKCON. He was having some difficulties. And Srila Prabhupada wrote a famous letter to him. He said, "Because you once chanted Krishna's name sincerely in Vrindavan, Krishna will save you." So by once coming to 26 2nd Avenue and really trying to offer our sincerest gratitude to Srila Prabhupada and feel his presence here, of how he sacrificed his whole life to give birth to ISKCON and to raise this baby for the years that followed. Our lives could be perfect. And yes, this space could be used for so many things. But, this team believes that what people are really looking for when they come here to this birthplace of Lord Chaitanya's mission outside of India, they're coming here to feel Srila Prabhupada's presence in the way that he manifested it at that time. I think in 1967 they moved out of here. Yes? Huh? 19,
The end of 68.
in 1968, they outgrew it
Up the street to 61.
because it was bigger probably. Yes. And now, all these years later, we're struggling to get it back and keep it and make it just the way it was. I'm truly astounded with what the devotees have done. They recreated the exact same ceiling. They found many of the original paintings or duplicates of the original paintings through photographs. Because when Srila Prabhupada was here, manifesting the full compassion of Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda, this is an eternal Leela. And if we open our hearts, we're there. We're here. And that is our hope and our prayer, that when someone walks through this door, they're coming from New York City truly into the spiritual world. So I just want to express my deepest gratitude to this whole team who have been so dedicated to make it happen. And I'm so grateful to all of you. And please let this be the meditation that 22nd Avenue represents in our hearts. A place to truly offer our profoundest gratitude and indebtedness to His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Thank you very much.
Holiness Radhanath Swami ki
Adi Dave, would you like to tell the story of this painting?
No, what I know is the story.
Could you come here so the mic?
How long, how far it's coming up? Hey, Prabhu, can you come up? It's quite long. Is the cord long?
You don't have to do that.
Yeah, okay.
Hare Krishna. Vanadev and I were here the last time, July, for the soft opening? June, that's right, June. Yeah. And the soft opening was so nice. There were so many Prabhupada disciples came, and new people came, and it was just a real sweet gathering. And sort of like 22nd Avenue now, we're just beginning to give information about it through the internet and other means, so that word of mouth, it spreads. More people will find out about it. So similarly, I think, when I got back to Florida, word had spread, and there was a woman who called me. Her name is Pranada, and she's a writer, and she has a very good friend who lives in Germany, a little town in Germany. And this woman is a Prabhupada disciple, and she was involved in a temple. I don't know if it was in Germany, but somewhere in Europe. And in 1977, after Prabhupada left us, there was a lot of chaos, as you can imagine. There's a leader, the focal point, the personality that came here from India to give us the message of Lord Chaitanya. And so the temples were going through a little bit of chaos, and there's a lot of artwork, original artwork, that had been passed out over the years for temples to have, and this was one of them, and it was passed to this woman by a leader in our movement, and he wanted to protect it, and so she got it, and he asked her just to hold on to it, just to protect it, that he would have, eventually as things sort of shifted and came back, would hang the painting in one of the other centers. Well, time went on, and he finally just told her that you just keep it. Just hold on to it. And she has all this time, from the early 80s all the way till now. And so this woman, Pranada, got me in touch with her, and I called her and talked with her, and found out the size and what kind of condition it was in, was she really willing to give this? Because when she heard about what we're doing here at 26 Second Avenue, she told Prabhupada, I have an original painting of Radha and Krishna. I want to offer it to 26 Second Avenue. Boom. Just, out of the kindness of her heart. And so yeah, after some correspondence, it was a fact. And there's a devotee in Europe who's a collector of artwork, Hare Krishna artwork, and he spoke with her, and he knew about how to pack artwork well and how to ship it, and had the contacts that were necessary. And so, little by little, it all manifested. So this is why this painting is here today. Yeah.
There's a photograph here. This photograph right behind where Vamanadev Prabhu is sitting has Srila Prabhupada sitting right in front of this painting, exactly the way it is today. Thank you, Adidev Prabhu. Vamanadev Prabhu is the only person here that was living at 26 Second Avenue with Srila Prabhupada. Could you give us some words of inspiration?
Well, thank you very much for inviting me to say a few words, Maharaj. I was here. I was here from January of 1968 until sometime towards the fall. And while I was here, Prabhupada came several times, twice at least. And one time I was initiated with Jayadvaita Maharaj at that same ceremony. I think it was in April of 1968. And we used to sleep in this area, and behind this curtain is where we put most of the sleeping bags and during the day. And about where this gentleman is sitting, right underneath that in that corner, was where I would stay when I could get there in time, because there were so many people, you had to kind of get your spot early. I was a temple commander. In those days, Brahmananda was the temple president, and my job was to get the people sleeping on the stoops away so people could come in, because it was a rough area. I don't know what this is. That's a mic too? And so there's several things that happened in those days that were very very memorable to me. The most important thing was one incident. Prabhupada was up in his apartment, and there was a problem with the drainage from the whole building, and they were unable to use the facilities in the building, and so I wasn't any kind of a plumber, but I was a get her done kind of guy. So I went out there with a shovel and started digging a hole where the water was bubbling up. And some devotee said, "Oh, that's Sudra work. You shouldn't be doing that." And then Prabhupada said, "No, that's devotional service." He chastised them. He said, "Let Vamanadev do that. That's good." So we did it. And so I was glorified for digging in a hole in the ground. So that taught me that we do whatever we can do for Krishna in any capacity, and it's appreciated. And it's appreciated by the spiritual master. It's appreciated by Krishna. Is this working? Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, it's recording for the camera. I'm sorry. I should have kept it there. But that was a very telltale thing. There are there was one incident too. Well, there were several instances when different things happened, but the most important thing was that from here we would go down to Tompkins Square Park and go around and chant and come back. So it was a very close knit group. There were no ladies living here, but there were about 5 or 6 headed up by Jadharani that we referred to as the gopis. And one of the quote-unquote gopis is one that did this painting, Indira Dasi, and so that's also original. I can attest to that. And let me see what else. There was there's so many stories, but I don't want to.
Tell us stories.
Well, one story, we came back from Sankirtan and it was late, and this didn't even get in Brahmananda's book, so I'm telling you this. But someone broke in because I think the door was either left open or whatever, and several things were taken. There was a tape recorder taken, there was different things taken. And so I was his right-hand man, so this was at this night, 9, 10 o'clock at night. And we had to go and find those things because they were part of the thing. The vina, we had a vina, you know, the instrument. It was taken. And so we just went out, and I had been in the movement. I was still Bhakta Bob, and I had been in the movement for just a few months. And but I was determined to help him. So we're wandering around, and I didn't even know where I was because I'm not from New York. I'm from upstate Massachusetts, upstate Pittsfield, western part of Massachusetts. So I never lived in New York before. What to speak of going to these different buildings, that people would squat in, these rundown buildings that were deserted. So we found the culprit that did it somehow or other. By Brahmananda was an amazing person. He could elicit the truth out of anyone. And so we found this guy, and he was. Yeah, you didn't fool around with Brahmananda. Once someone was saying something, I'm digressing here a little bit, was saying at a lecture by, the Prabhupada was giving a lecture and a talk in his room, and someone was talking very irreverently toward Prabhupada. And then Prabhupada just looked at Brahmananda and he said, so Brahmananda went over to him and he said, he just bent down and he says, "You should go." And then the guy said, he said, and then he looked at him, "Now." And he got up and left. So you didn't disobey Brahmananda. So this gentleman that had taken his things, he was a little strung out, but we wrapped him up in some telephone wire and brought him to the precinct. And this guy stole from our spiritual master, so we brought him to the precinct, and they threw us in jail and let him go. But they let us go before Mangalarti, so we got him. And he didn't press charges, so it was all. And we got most of the things back too, because he told us which places he had put them. So you wanted a story, so I gave you a story.
Thank you very much. A lot of changes have been happening in this space due to the Deva brothers, as we affectionately call them, and Maharaj, of course. And there's actually
You're pointing that mic at the speaker there, not the one in your hand.
Oh, yeah? Okay.
Not that one, the other one.
This one?
Yeah.
Okay. There's a third original painting that we have as well, and I don't know the story. If one of you knows the story, please tell us. In the window, the Panchatattva painting is also from Germany. No? Radhadesh?
Yes.
Radhadesh. But it's original, yeah? Do either of you know about that? Okay. So right now we do have 3 original paintings in the space. Stop it. And there's a chance that we might be getting more. So things are just happening by Maharaj's potency. Oh, Anatacharya Prabhu is holding it up now. If you can want to take a look back there. Yeah. Ananta, is that also Jadharani? Yes. Okay.
And it's the original frame that Prabhupada.
The original frame that Prabhupada had on there. And yes, the story is they were going to take that frame off, and Jadharani said, no, do not take that off. Prabhupada personally chose that frame and wanted that on there. Yeah. Thank you, Prabhu. So amazing things have been happening. We are now open from Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. And we hope to expand on those hours in the future. But it's just amazing, relatively speaking, it's the Hare Krishnas. We're such a small thing. People are coming in every day. Many, many people are coming in, taking darshan, making donations, and just feeling Prabhupada's presence and marveling at what's happened here and reaping the benefits of it. So again, I thank you, Maharaj, and I thank you, Deva brothers, and I thank all of the devotees who are on the team. If we could just give everybody a round of applause. Thank you. So, Maharaj, would you care to lead a short kirtan? Okay. So we're going to have a brief kirtan, 5 to 10 minutes, and then we will take prasadam. Maybe a couple of brief announcements in between. Thank you. Thank you.
Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavari Paschatya Satharine Shri Krishna Chaitanya
Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jai Jai Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada. Jai Jai Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada. Jayom Vishnupad Paramhansa Parivrachakacharya Asthotarasata Sri Srimad Abhay Charanaravinda Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jayom Vishnupad Paramhansa Parivrachakacharya Asthotarasata Sri Srimad Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada Ki Jai. Gaur Premanandi. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga.
So we had the God Brothers on the band there. We had Vamadev on cartels, Haridev on Mridanga, and Maharaj on harmonium. What'd you think? So thank you once again for coming here. This is Prabhupada Meditations. It happens every Wednesday evening at 6:30. Usually runs till about 7:30 or so. This program also was the vision and brainchild of His Holiness Radhanath Swami. He instructed us, have a program. We decided to be a Wednesday night. He mapped it out exactly how it should happen. We've been trying to remain faithful to that vision, and a lot of people are benefiting from it. And I hear a lot of people say, like, I wish I could serve Maharaj somehow. Serve Maharaj somehow. It's a wonderful thought. If you are one of those people, one way you can do that is just drop by here on a Wednesday evening. And that's why he wanted this program to happen, for people just to come and to meditate on Srila Prabhupada for an hour. So if it ever comes to mind, come on a Wednesday evening at 6:30. When we don't have a guest speaker, we either read from a book that was written by a disciple of Srila Prabhupada. So don't read from Prabhupada's books, but his disciples' books, because those are the books that glorify Srila Prabhupada. So we read from those books and have discussions. Otherwise, we might see a video or listen to an audio interview of Prabhupada's disciples. So it's mixed. So please do keep us in mind. We have some merchandise for sale. If you want to take a little bit of 26 2nd Avenue back home with you, Johnny Tai is modeling in the back.
Back to 1966.
Yeah, back to 1966. So we have T-shirts in various colors and sizes, hats, and tote bags. So if anybody's interested in that, cash, credit card, please see Johnny Tai or myself or Gaur Kumar, and we can make that happen. I think that's it on the announcement scale. Thank you once again for coming. So prasadam is served. The boxes are back there. I think someone is back there to hand them to you. They're to-go boxes, but we're not kicking you out. So please have a good time, chant and be happy. Srila Prabhupada ki jai!